Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and today I'm joined by RNT'er Meera Patel, who shares an incredible story of using the physical as the vehicle to completely transform her life. Meera shares some of the most beautifully said insights on what this process has given her, and why this mission we're on at RNT is so critically important. While Meera's body composition has drastically changed, it's her mental health and mindset transformation that's so astonishing. She's embraced essentialism, her 3 S's have changed, and she's used this journey so far to give her the spring cleaning in her life she was craving for so long. This episode is filled with analogies, insights, and tips that anyone on this journey will cherish, value, and will want to implement. So without further ado, let's dive in. How have things been since the first checkpoint of the photo shoot?
Yeah, great. I've basically gone 2.5 weeks now, and I'm holding my shoot weight, which is brilliant. I've had 2 lots of increases in calories at each check-in, and I'm literally just the same mindset as fat loss. I had a few messages from people going, be careful, consolidation is the beast. You have to be careful. This is where it can all go wrong. And this is where the real test is. I mean, you think going through fat loss, that's the real challenge. But actually now, being in consolidation, it's almost like you're open to the world. Whereas in fat loss, I think your mind is so closed off in that journey. I'm a really visual person. And the way I always visualize fat loss was I was in the middle of a jungle, literally in the middle of a jungle, trying to find my way out. And I knew that before I could see that light, I could see flickers on the through the leaves of the trees, but I knew it was going to get a hell of a lot worse before it got better until I find that light. Going through what you call the grind and everything else. I knew what to expect. I've seen it on social media, on your platforms, through people that have done RNT, and now I'm in that. I've come out of the jungle, so to speak. But holy crap, you don't realize how that shift in mind can happen so quickly when you don't have those same, almost barriers that you've put up during fat loss, which is tunnel vision, so focused. And I'm literally trying to make sure in my mind, I have still got that same mentality. And I think it's because I have that my consolidation is actually going so well. Like Ivan said to me, he goes, your face is filling out, but your body is as lean as it was on shoot day. And I mean, we got really lean, super lean. We pushed super hard, way beyond the point of where we originally thought the weight would sit. It started working really well, and we were like, right, let's just go for it.
I really like the analogy there. I was just thinking about how I can expand on that one.
I'm thinking, of the roof.
You're in this forest.
Yeah.
You've got this guided path.
Yeah.
You're blocked off. You've got barriers along the path while you're in this jungle. And then suddenly the photo shoot day arrives, and now you're out. All you can see is a savannah.
I mean, when
there's no barriers.
Yeah, no. And when I came out of the shoot, that feeling, I actually stood there and I went, I don't know what to do with myself, because I have been grinding. So I started in July. What you would call grinding, I'd have done that since September.
Yeah,
so my calories were very low since September, and they progressively got lower. My step count was at 16,000, but at that point, progressively went up to 18 and then to 20,000. And when you're doing that day in, day out, and my gym was literally 6 days a week, 7 days a week it went to very quickly. And I was doing 7 days for quite a while. Cardio level was really high in terms of calories. It was tough in the sense of what you need to commit and give. And I came out of that shoot and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. I feel lost because that focus was so strong. And when I say so strong, I made sacrifices because this meant so much to me. And I am very much all in. When I commit to do something, it's all in. And I genuinely believe that mentality is what has driven the results that I have got throughout every single checkpoint. I've never faltered from whatever Ivan has said to me. I've done every single thing to the T. Every meal prep, removed decision fatigue. And I gave up, my job being what it is. I love eating varieties of different things. And I gave up all of that. I gave up being on social media for a long time. I didn't post anything because I was like, yeah, my creativity is stifled because of the fact that I can't, something has to give. What's more important right now is this journey. And it's short term. I think that's what people need to realize, that what you're giving up to do this is very short term. And then you've got that beautiful, you come out of the rainforest and wherever, whatever it is, you've got that beautiful bliss to live through, because I have never felt this good in my life, ever. Like all the things that, you draw happiness from, whether it be passing an exam or having children and getting a promotion at work, these things that come to you, they're temporary, blips up in happiness in that sort of, if you were to draw a graph. And I very quickly realized that, okay, but that's gone now, or that's done now. And you have this, feeling of being euphoric for a short term. It's almost like a drug, right? But with this, I feel content and happy every single day. Not just because I look in the mirror and I can't actually believe the reflection that stares back at me, but more because it's affected so many different aspects of my life, so many I can't even tell you. And it's been the most life-changing experience. And I think that's what people need to realize, is that whatever the fat loss journey and consolidation might be, the way you can live thereafter is such a different way. And I can draw now happiness, not from external factors. I draw happiness from myself first. So no matter what might sink around me, it doesn't affect me the way it used to, because I was almost looking for happiness from other places, whether it be my work, whether it be something else. But now I'm actually so just content. And I think a lot of that came from the solitude of the grind. And I think the length of time that I did that grind for, it really focused me in, God, so many aspects. And like I said to you, the leaner that I became physically, my life became leaner too. I cut out fat from my body and I cut out fat from my life. And I learned how to prioritize the things that were actually the things that meant something to me. They come first, rather than letting rubbish from external things, relationships with people and all of those other things. They're so irrelevant to me now. So irrelevant. You have this almost like inner circle that it's like layers that come out, like a ripple effect. Now that ripple effect might still be the same, but where my focus is very much those central, where the stone's gone in. Those are the, if something goes wrong in that little circle there in the middle, that's where my energy goes. But yeah, no, that's I just don't let things bother me anymore. I don't let things bother me. I feel that I've also been able to communicate better with people. So the way I look at life is, you are very much at one point where you haven't, where you are in reality. And then you have the other side, which is where your expectation of something might be. So let's put that same example or analogy to anything. The way I looked in the mirror before I joined RNT to where my expectation of what I wanted to look like. Whenever there's a gap between the reality and the expectation, that gap is always filled with negative emotions. It's very hard to fill that with positive emotions. And as human beings, unfortunately, we're always conditioned to look at the worst rather than look at the good. So say RNT journey, yeah, I looked in the mirror, wasn't happy with what I looked like. And obviously this is where I wanted to be. So that was negative emotion, frustrations, whatever. You can apply that to relationships. So you might have a relationship with a friend, whoever it might be, and the reality is this, but the expectation of what you expect from that person is in a different place. But now, rather than getting upset or letting myself be eaten up by it, I've actually got the courage now to communicate with that person and say, well, actually, I'm not happy with that. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't serve me in the way I need it to serve me. You can call that selfish, but I'm trying to find that equilibrium point where I am happy in whatever situation it might be, whether it be, again, work, relationships, whatever. I think that same principle can be applied to everything. So it's now my reality was here, my expectation is here, but I've actually brought that person closer to my expectation. And maybe as a compromise, I've brought my expectation down because maybe that person isn't capable of giving to the level of what I expect. So now we're both coming together to a middle point. And that relationship is in a happy medium because now we both understand it. Whereas before I would just get frustrated going, why is that person doing that? And I wouldn't communicate because I don't like confrontation. I'm just not that kind of person. So putting myself forward would be really hard. But I've realized the importance of actually just finding that inner happiness for yourself and removing all the obstacles that you can and laying down a smooth path. So every single day, I don't have to feel anything other than what I feel right now. And it's working. I mean, even Ivan says on every checkpoint, so every check-in since I've had my shoot, he's like, you're still on cloud nine, I see. You're still on cloud nine, I see. Because he can sense that positivity and that happiness within me. And I found my way with, I've changed my work around. Even with work, I only now do what makes me happy. I've removed all the things that I was doing, maybe because they earned me money or whatever. I'm like, hang on a minute. If I actually just put my energies into what I enjoy, the rewards, monetary or whatever, they'll come anyway. So that's how I've shifted up so much. And it's actually shocking in 6 months, how you can do that. I just feel like I'm me, but I'm not the same me. It's almost like if I was a puzzle, I've just put the pieces back together differently. And that's my transformation.
Wow.
So yeah.
I think that's probably one of the best ways to sum up a transformation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things you cover there, from the physical being the vehicle, to the solitude of the grind, and to ultimately what I took from that most is that you've just become an essentialist for your life.
Yep.
You've cut out all the bloat. You've gotten lean inside and out.
Yep.
And you're just reaping the rewards that all of this has brought with it.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? I would do the grind again in a heartbeat if it brings me what it's brought me already.
Yeah.
I would happily grind again, 6 months, 12 months, because why not move forward in life only carrying the things that matter?
We were talking about, just before we got on air, we were talking about why you need a hard transformation, essentially like the grind you've gone through, in order to love the rest of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And what you've spoken about there is that I would do, you would do the grind if it brought you more improvement or more happiness. But I think the fact that you went through it for so long and experienced so many good benefits, you're now in the position where you've audited your life so well that you can make, what improvements are that need to be made.
Yeah.
And you can do that in what's known, what we call as the investment phase. Mm-hmm. But that's where you gather all the you make the list of all the problems, and then you use the next few phases to eliminate and improve upon.
Yeah.
And doing the grind, would you do it again now? Probably isn't the right time for it.
No.
Like if you did it in a year's time, it'd be like another audit. Or
yeah, I don't mean doing the grind for the physical sense.
Yeah.
I mean for, like you say, the physical is just a vehicle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I messaged you yesterday.
Yeah.
That statement is so powerful. And maybe I find it powerful because it resonates so well with me in terms of how it's changed my life. So absolutely. When I say I'll do the grind again in a heartbeat, it doesn't mean I'll do it tomorrow, next month. It's not for the physical. The physical will happen anyway. Yeah. When you're dieting down and your activity is so high, that's, logical sense. But it's what it brings you. And yeah, I'm happy to. And I think you mentioned it in a podcast before where every time you grind, you cut out more and more fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always get the best insights, introspection, ideas when you go through the grind. And then you reach that checkpoint, and then you're in a position where, okay, now I know what improvements I need to make. And now I can actually make the improvements to my lifestyle for the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking before, like when you hear of people who are doing the slow journey, or I'm just going to improve my lifestyle, you don't really get anywhere because you never go through that grind. You never go through the short-term transformation, which brings all this incredible insight that is transcending of the physical.
Yeah.
And it's when you get all these insights and you cultivate it in the right way, and you can use it as a vehicle to like explode your life and transform everything.
Absolutely. And another thing I will say is, I know people who haven't done the grind or only had done the grind for a couple, the last couple of weeks of their fat loss journey. And there are people obviously listening that haven't actually done the grind at all. I just feel that it's a way to really embrace solitude. I'm one of those people. I didn't like being alone ever. I like being around people. I come from a fairly large family. We've always grown up with loads of dinners and sleepovers at cousins' houses and all of that. But I never liked silence. It's just that I need noise. But now I realize I hate noise. I hate the noise of life. I hate I hate all noise that is just negative noise, that's static.
Yeah.
It's like my creativity has just gone through the roof.
It's insane, right?
I mean, I can't even tell you, like, the ideas when I'm doing these walks, and trust me, I've done a lot of walks, and things just come to me. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is, you have to let yourself, even if you're grinding, right now you're grinding, whatever, you have to let yourself almost be open to being in that space. Anyone can grind. That doesn't mean you're going to feel these same effects.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
It's almost like meditation.
Yeah.
If you don't let go, I don't meditate because I just don't have the ability to. I can't do it. But it's like when you're meditating, you have to let go completely to let the flow come back in. So when you're grinding, it's almost like becoming like a Buddhist monk. Like you have to almost give up and let yourself be okay to give up and make sacrifices. Ivan had many goes at me. He's like, I don't want you to give up your social life. And I don't want you to. I said, in my head, I was like, Ivan, I am going out, but I'm going out only to things, I want to do. None of this mindless social stuff during fat loss, and especially during grind. To me, it's just not worth it. I'd rather spend my energy and conserve my energy doing something I actually enjoy. And also I was surrounding myself with people who understood my journey and were willing to come to my side of the table and say, right, what do you need to do tonight to fulfill your needs? You have people in your life that are hell-bent on going out drinking and, let's go for some drinks, let's go have a glass of wine, la, la, la. Yeah, but I'm not doing that right now. And it's very interesting to see who steps up to be on your side about it. So this is, the learnings and teachings of the grind they're not even one-dimensional. They're so multifaceted. It's unreal.
Yeah, I really like what you said about letting it happen, because anyone can push themselves hard on calories and get lean. But if you're just constantly stimulating yourself in that period of time, you never actually get these insights because you don't cultivate that self-awareness. Yeah. And it's in that self-awareness that you start noticing the relationships that you mentioned, the irritabilities that before you probably didn't even realize it, but now it's like it's an irritation and you need to get out of your life. Yeah. Or the negative vibes that before, again, you probably just thought was just passive and neutral, whereas now it's like, I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like, oh yeah, I'll let it go. But how many times do you let something go? Yeah. And clearly, if I'm still thinking about it, it's bothering me subconsciously. It's there. So that's all the stuff that I've eliminated. I've chopped that tree down completely for it to regrow in a whole different way.
The creativity thing's interesting as well, because I when I went through my one in the summer of last year, kept getting people asking me saying, how's it affecting the business? I said, it's blowing it up. Like I'm just coming up with stuff like left, right, center, and I'm being able to execute so quickly, and I'm being able to produce and so creative, but juices flowing left, right, center.
Yeah.
Like, why? I was like, because I've got so much time on myself. Yeah. I'm just letting my mind wander.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's when your body's in automatic motion. You probably felt this when you go for those long walks. Especially if you do unplugged walks, and your body's in an unconscious state where it's just moving. You don't think about walking, right? You just walk.
No, exactly.
So when you're just walking and your body's being physical, your mind is allowed to expand, and it's actually able to access new networks. And that's where the creative energy comes from. Yeah, because you're creative, aren't you? With what you do, you're more visually creative.
Very. Hence why all my analogies are very visual as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The way I picture life, the way I picture situations, it's very much analogy, visual related. I have to carry a notepad around with me now. Yeah. Because the creativity is like on overflow. I have to stop it. I have to put a lid on it sometimes. I'm like, stop. Okay, just stop now. But I have to carry a notepad. Or if I'm walking, I'll just quickly get my phone out and just in my notes, just write down whatever it is. Because, these ideas, you just forget them. Yeah. It
always comes when you don't think about it. Like yesterday, I know it's not walking, but I was in the cinema. And I was just going through, as I was watching the film, I was like, that could be a good article idea. Yes. And in the end, I came at the end of the cinema, I'm like, I got to make sure I write down these 4 article ideas. It came out, I was like, opened my Trello, I was like, this one. I mean, I think I made a porridge bowl because my sister-in-law and brother gave me some incense burner from the Rituals shop. And it had, to be honest, I didn't even read it until I actually had taken the picture. And it had almond oil and rose or something. I was like, that's a good idea. So that's the thing. It's amazing where you can draw creativity ideas, creative ideas come from the strangest of places, If we go back in time to June of last year, July last year, what was your driving why behind all of this? Was it purely physical at that time and moment, or was there something else underneath that was really driving you to make a change?
So there's 2 things. Firstly, what happened was I got diagnosed with an underactive thyroid. So November of 20. So I started my journey in July 2019. Around sort of November, December of 2018, my weight. So I've always been a very naturally slim person. My weight just started ballooning. Like I was like, what is going on? I've always been one of those people that can eat relatively okay. I'd have to watch what I eat so much. And I've always been managed to maintain, here or there, give or take a couple of kilos, 3-4 kilos, whatever. But this was, I think I put on about a good 6, 7, 8 kilos, something like that in such a short time, like to the point where it was like, it's like someone's just like taken a straw and blown into my mouth with this straw and I've just ballooned. That's the only way I could describe it. And I was like, okay, something's not right. So I was feeling tired, went for a blood test. Oh, you have an underactive thyroid. What? Okay. I mean, my mom has it. So I think it's one of those things that is genetic. So I was like, right, this is obviously something that as soon as I start medication, you're not allowed to stop. And you do need the meds. So, I mean, even when I say to people, I need to lose weight, because you're naturally skinny, or they think you're skinny, because my legs are so slim, and that's what they see mostly. They didn't realize I was just my clothes were just getting baggier and baggier on the top to hide. It was more the midriff and it was my face, which you can't cover up. And that's what I thought until I took my pictures from my check-in. Oh my God. That's when you really realize what you look like. Yeah. Because in the mirror, you see one thing, but when it's a static picture, I was just, oh my God, I can't send these, but obviously you have to. But yeah, once I sent them, it was fine. So yeah, the thyroid, I wasn't willing to wait around for the medication to kick in. And actually it was really funny because Sanj, who has completed her fat loss journey, and I think she's in investment phase now, she came up on on my sort of explore thing. And her daughter went to the same nurse, her youngest daughter and my youngest son were in the same class at nursery. So obviously I know her from previous. I was like, that's Sanj. Oh my God, that's Sanj. oh my God, she's got abs. I need to do this. I need to do this, and I need to do it right now. So, I mean, you see all these diets and stuff, everywhere. There's diets, there's pills, there's shakes, there's this. None of that stuff ever appealed to me. I didn't want to ever live a life where I'm constantly just starving myself. And I looked at her and I thought, her kids are exactly the same age as mine. She's a mom, she works. If she can do this, and she's someone I know and it's relatable, why can't I? And that was it. I just filled in the form. Like, submit whatever I had to do, I just had to do. And I did it. And that was the beginning of probably one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself and for my life and for my kids. Because I got to a point where it was like, someone said to me, as a mum, you are the core. When you become a mum, when you're a wife or a girlfriend or a partner, it's not the same as when you're a mum. The world around you revolves around you. You are the core. Your kids rely on you. The home relies on you. The food you have to make, the running around for school kids, the homework. It's mainly, sorry guys, it's mainly done by women. Let's face it. I think most men, unless they're, able to be at home in that time span when the kids come home or they work from home and they're allowed to, a lot of it is based on the job situation. Moms have got more flexible jobs, some don't, but a mum is a mum. It's very different to being a father, that bond that you have. And I think the give that you have, the want and the desire to make things around you always be perfect. Someone said to me, if that breaks down, that core, everything around you breaks down. What good are you to anyone if you're not healthy, if you're not happy? If I'm in a bad mood, who are the first people I'm going to scream at? My kids. If I don't feel good, who's not going to make dinner today? They're the ones who suffer. So I made that decision that, no, enough's enough. I need to do something for myself. I need to do this for me. I want to be in a better place. And you know what? At the time, never in a million years did I think it would bring me what it has. I thought it was just a physical thing. I'm like, yeah, I'll just feel happy. I'll be able to go shopping and get some new clothes. And literally, it was just an aesthetic, thing, the transformation. But as I went through this journey, the more deeper into that jungle I got, I fell in love with it. And it's something that will never leave my life. The methodology, the mindset, the attitude, I now apply all of it to everything that I do. All aspects. I am so calm now as a person. Before, my life was erratic. Even though I'm so organized, I'm probably one of the most organized people that I know. I have OCD in everything. But it was actually realizing that was probably part of the problem, is I wasn't prioritizing the right things. So I'd be in a flap because I've got so much to do and I'll try and do all of it in one go because it all had to be perfect. I realized you don't need to be perfect all the time. You just need to do the things that matter the right way, and everything else will just fall into place. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned in terms of I am so calm with life. I wake up in the day, in the morning, I plan the night before what I have to achieve, the things that are important, I get those done. And yeah, some things, they move on to the next day's to-do list. And that's perfectly okay because the things I needed to do, I've achieved them. Like going to the gym, that is probably one of my biggest priorities in the day. There is no compromise on that. It just does not happen. It doesn't matter if I end up in the gym at whatever time. It might be at 5 a.m, it might be at 10 o'clock at night. But by the time I go to bed, my workout will be done. And I will give 100% to each workout. There is no back door open, I'll do it tomorrow. I think the minute you start doing that, even with your steps, I hit my step target every single day, no matter what. There was no average step count for the week in my head. Because the minute you have a back door open and you do it once, the second time becomes that much easier because you've done it once. And I don't want things building up where, oh God, I've got another 3,000. When you're doing 18,000, 20,000 steps, doing another 3,000 or whatever it is, there's a lot more in terms of what you have to give. You know, to do 20,000 steps, I have my rounds calculated around where I walk. It was 2,500 steps. It used to take me 25 minutes, and I had it down 1 minute for 100 steps. I knew exactly how many rounds I could do to work around my work schedule, my kids. I had it planned down to a T, because when you're grinding, you need to have everything down to a T. It's like my mind would just have visual slots, and I would just slot, when am I fitting that in? When I'm like, okay, 40-minute walk here, 45-minute walk here, then I can do an hour here. And I know exactly that's 3 rounds, 2 rounds. And it was 2.5 hours of walking outside of my just daily walks going to school, like, you know, just life steps. But this is active walking plus the gym. So that's about 4 hours of my day, give or take, that was spent RNTing.
At your peak.
At my peak.
And how are you doing this around working, being a mother of 2 young kids?
So
you said they're 7 and 5?
7 and 5, 2 boys, 7 and 5.
2 young boys working and life. How are you fitting all this in? Because that's the first thing people are going to ask you is, how are you fitting this in? Like, and you probably had probably a sense of that, you know, when you saw Sandy's pictures, you're probably thinking, how has she done this?
Yeah.
So speak to the potentially overwhelmed person in that same position.
Right.
But also how you actually managed to do this.
Right. So first of all, you can't get frustrated at what is in front of you for the day. You have to welcome what it is that you have to do. I think if you go in the morning, or you start your day with a negative mindset, like, oh, I have to go to the gym, or I have to do my 20,000 steps, I think you're starting off on the wrong foot. So I think that's the most important thing, is how are you going into it mentally? Embrace it, because you know it's there for a reason. The reason you joined RNT in the first place, what was your why? Always think about why you're there and why you're doing it. And that will change the mindset towards it. And I think when you do something with a more positive and happy heart, you find it that much easier. Second point is to organize your life. Like I said, I literally, in my head, I have time slots where I know this is free space for me to do things without disrupting other people in my house. So if it means I have to get up at 4:30 and go for an hour and a half, 2-hour walk before the day starts, then that's what I have to do. Because once the kids are home, that's my focus. Homework, getting them fed, reading with them, showering them, spending time with them. That's my priority, because they've been away from me all day. And I want 100% focus on them. And I don't want my head being taken up by the fact that I still have another 10,000 steps to do. But because I've prioritized it in my head and I've logged it as to when I'm going to be doing it, it's almost like I can let it go and enjoy that time with my children and be free in that moment. So I think keeping it all in you all the time is not the way to do it. Find a space that is free in your diary, in your day. And yes, if it means, waking up an extra 2 hours, it's temporary. You can sleep later on. Go to bed a little bit earlier. You're doing this for a reason. So I would go in the morning, either do my steps or get my gym done. Something would be done early before the kids even get out of bed. So as soon as they're up, then I can be back, focus on them, get ready for the day, get them to school. And then work, take a break in between. So when you would supposedly have a lunch break at work or whatever, I mean, it's amazing what you can get done in an hour if you want to be productive. If you want to be productive. I mean, I've walked so much and I look like a complete hobo. I'm not even joking. I have my woolly, we've had really bad rain. Like, it's been really cold. I've double layers of scarves, woolly hat, gloves, jacket, boots, nothing matches, but I don't care. And I just walk around and I do my rounds near where I live. I actually walk so much, you're not even going to believe. I had a woman, she stopped her car almost like diagonally into the pavement when I was walking. I had my headphones in. She's like, "Excuse me." I was like, "You talking to me?" So I turned around. She's on my right. And she's like, "Dear, I wanted to ask if you're okay." I said, "I'm fine." And I said, "Why?" She goes, all I do is see you walking. She goes, every time I drive past, you're walking.
Yeah.
She goes, do you have somewhere to go? I was like, oh my God, I need to improve my walking outfits. Yeah. She literally thought I was going through something. And I go, no. I'm just on this fitness program. I've she steps to do. Look, this is my Fitbit. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. To tell them, right? Yeah. I'm fine. And I was more than fine. I'm in my zone. Like, she goes, you're always walking. I go, I've got targets. I need to do this.
Yeah.
So, she, bless her, it shows that there's kind people still left in the world. She was obviously clearly concerned, and she was nice enough to do something about it. Not that I needed her, but yeah. So find time in your day. Prioritize. Ivan used to shout at me about walking out late at night. But unfortunately, when you have a job, when you're working and, you have kids and there's so many other things going on, activities after school and whatever else, you sometimes just, the day's going to end at midnight. My Fitbit's going to reset. It's like, no, I need to get my steps done. And there were days, I remember do you remember the umbrella day where everyone was making excuses about walking? I was out there, 18,000 steps, done. Like, no excuses. No umbrella. I literally looked like I'd had a shower. And I walked into my house. Yeah. And I was like, it's only wet clothes. But I've done what I need to do.
That's the silliest excuse. When I hear people say it's raining or it's cold or, well, put a hat on or get your umbrella and get out walking.
Should I tell you the best thing I bought?
Go on.
Well, actually, no, I didn't. Yeah. So basically, it's a hot water bottle. And it's one of those long hot water bottles.
Yeah.
Do you know those things that you can put on your neck, which have got lavender beads? Yeah. So it's a hot water bottle that looks like that, and you can wrap it around your waist.
There you go.
And because I lost so much weight, there was space in my coat. So I used to tie this, and it's got like a string. So I used to tie this hot water bottle around my waist. And oh my God, it changed my life.
And what you've said about there, about having 2.5 hours blocked out. Now, before, you were probably wondering where you can get 2 hours a day.
Absolutely.
Now you've managed to go through the grind where you've done 2.5 hours a day. I think one of the biggest things it teaches you is the power of scheduling, diarising, non-negotiables.
100%.
Now, when you go into consolidation and investment, where your step count is probably going to be lower, you're suddenly going to have like an extra hour and a half in your day potentially. And what can you fill that time with? It's like, I can do work, I can create, I can spend more time with the kids. It's like, suddenly I'm like, well, I thought I was busy before, but now I've actually got loads more time.
And it's the same as like, when I went back to work after, and I wasn't doing what I do now with the food. I had a proper job in an office, and I was away from the house. And after I had children, my second one, and I went back to work, and I was like, oh my God, it was scaring the life out of me. How am I going to do this? I'm going to be out of the house for luckily my work was flexible where I could work 6 hours in the office and go get the kids, and then I would work in the evening and work from home in the evening and just catch up. How am I going to run this house? How am I going to manage all this? And I've got kids now. Yeah. Before I didn't even have them. How am I can't do it. I can't do it. But it's amazing how just throwing yourself into a situation, you either sink or swim. There is no other option. Food has to still be put on the table. The laundry still needs to be done. Yeah, it might eat into your evening where you're not sitting up, putting your feet up on the sofa, watching Netflix for 3 hours, probably wasting a lot of time. I don't watch TV. I actually just don't even watch TV anymore because unless it's something I'm genuinely interested in, which is probably food related, I don't watch TV. And that's not because I sit there and go, oh, TV's rubbish. I've watched many Netflix series and stuff like that, but I just find with the little time that I had, what am I going to give my energy to? There are things that are more important to me than watching a Netflix program. Minnow, Iron Junkie. Yeah. He's like, did you see the vegan? Yeah, that guy got I'm doing Veganuary. So he's like, did you watch the vegan program? The first vegan cooking show? And I went, no, I didn't even know it was on. Yeah. And that's so not like me. But that's just how life has become now. But now that I'm in consolidation, I will find the time. I just need to give myself a few weeks because I've shifted so much work. My work life is right now, everything's I'm trying to do so much. And I've made a lot of changes in my life with work that I just need that to settle down. And then absolutely, I will have some time in the evenings to have that little bit of, relaxed time. But I don't see my work as I'm probably like you. Work is, it's not stress.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. I wake up in the morning and I absolutely never feel like I work.
Yeah, it's just the lifestyle.
I love it.
It's just the lifestyle. When you love what you do, it's just the lifestyle.
That's it.
Just how you live.
It just fits in.
And what you're talking about there is essentially you went through a spring cleaning of your life. That's what it is you go through a spring cleaning, and the only reason you can fit the 2.5 hours in is because you've cut out all the bloat. It goes back to what we spoke about at the beginning, is being an essentialist. You've now mastered the art of being an essentialist. And now watch when you carry this over. We have a chat in 6 months' time about this. You'll be doing some amazing things in the areas you love, because you've gone through that period of like auditing your life and sorting it, decluttering, and making room for what you love to do.
Absolutely. And it's already started.
Yeah.
I've really only since just before photo shoot day really started focusing on that shift in my work, and the effects they're already showing. And it's only been like 2.5, 3 weeks. So I can't wait for.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You wait 6 months' time, you'll be blowing up.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. And I want to touch on the food aspect a bit later, because first I want to go through. You talked about your journey, and you talked about all the different aspects. Being a mother, fitting in the time, the solitude around it all. But there's one aspect I think we haven't touched upon, and that's the coaching aspect and the accountability. And and I've spoken to Ivan as well, and he's always said you're the perfect client. And you said you think you have the perfect coach-client relationship.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand on this and why that's been such an integral part to this journey that you've been on?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, because Ivan's bloody great.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I started, I literally just went, right, so right now this guy's my God. I listen to everything he says. And I think you have to do that. It's always having that back door open. If you have a back door open and you think you know better, or you let someone come into your ear and say, actually, why are you doing that? And then they start changing your thought process. I think that relationship between me and Ivan, it was like just a private relationship between me and him. And it was about my journey and not letting anyone else interfere with that situation. So anything Ivan said was gold. You just listen. Because unlike other situations where I might know better than someone else, in this situation, I don't know better than him. There's always people in your life that know more than you. And absolutely, if I knew better than him, I would not look the way I was, and I wouldn't be eating necessarily, even though I was eating healthy, there was no nutritional balance, there was no, all of that stuff. I put myself in his hands and fully gave that to him. So whatever he said, I would execute. And whoever's listening to this and is on the journey or about to start the journey, there's a reason why that plan is in place. We're fortunate enough that we don't have to do any second guessing. You guys take the second guessing and the legwork out of it. All I need to do is go, right, that's my workout plan for today. That's the food for today. And these are my steps for today. How is that difficult? I just have to do that. I mean, he can't make me do it. But what's the reason you're here in the first place? You want to transform your life, whether it just be for the physical or whether it be for other things that you're looking for. You're here for a reason. Why waste your time? You're just wasting your own time. And by being dishonest, I was fortunate enough to work with, is it Man? Who's that? Is it Manpreet? Manmeet. Yeah, right. So she mentioned, The Secret and all of that. I was one of the first people to watch The Secret. And I was fortunate enough from my old work, my old job, to actually meet Bob Proctor. And we did an experiment. And he says that when you lie and you're dishonest, it causes weakness in your body. So if I say that, if I hold my hands out like this, and you try to press down on my hands and push down, if I'm being honest, you won't be able to actually push my hands down. But the minute I tell you something, that's a lie, my hands will go down. You'll be able to naturally my hands will just go down. And that's a weakness that gets created the minute that you are dishonest about what you've actually done. So that was the mindset going in, is like, I'm only doing a disjustice. Like, it's just going to reflect back on me. I'm the one who wants this. Ivan doesn't really care if I do. I mean, he does care, but it's not going to affect his life if I don't do this. It only comes back on me. And I want this fat loss journey done quickly. Like you say, I want it done. I can move on to the good bits. I want this to be like how I live going forward. And I want to see what I look like. I was so desperate to see what my end result was going to be. Little did I know that we would end up doubling my pretty much fat loss journey, because obviously the results were coming so fast. Initially, we thought 12 weeks is all I'd need, but actually we thought we can push more than this. And we went way beyond what we originally thought. And then obviously a month before, I decided to do a shoot. So that pushed it more. And then Sham wasn't free. And then that went, I grinded. I was on full grind Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. So with Ivan, I have always been honest. I've always tried to build a relationship that isn't necessarily just about RNT. And it's actually like, might talk about a movie, talk about the Joker, talk about the dark side of Joker. It might be what we did on the weekend. And I might even offload to him about the changes I'm feeling just emotionally, how, I might not want to necessarily go to social things or whatever. And he'll be like, Meera, you don't need to be like that. You can go. And then I'll make him understand where I'm coming from. And it's very much like, that getting to know you process. Because, you don't, he's all the way on the other side of the world. I didn't even get to meet him at the RNT Christmas party, which I was so upset about, because I just wanted to give him a hug for everything he's done for me. And I remember the one time that I've actually really I'm grinding, my calories went down really low, and I was, when it was like really high activity levels, and I was like, I'm not being able to finish these sets. I can't do the same weights that I was doing, and I just can't finish, and I can't finish my sets. And he's like, right, I want you to take a video of me, of yourself, and send it to me. And I want you to think that I'm there with you, pushing you through it. I didn't even need to take the video. Just him saying that, and me retelling myself that conversation when I was in the gym. Next check-in, I did it. Mm. But that can only work if you've got that relationship where that person actually means that much to you in what you're doing, that I didn't want to let him down. I don't ever want to let him down. So I don't want to let myself down either, which comes first. But, I've come this far, and every week I used to be so excited about my check-in. I'm like, I can't wait to hear back from what is he going to say? And I wanted to send something where the reason why people don't do the check-ins is because they've got something to fear. Because they've not achieved.
Fear of accountability.
Yes. The fear is there. I haven't achieved this. I didn't do my steps. I ate wrong. I went out, got, had a few drinks, whatever. I missed 3 workouts this week. That's the reason you don't do a check-in. If you have done everything that is expected of you, why would you fear a check-in?
And even if you haven't, why do you fear a check-in?
Yeah.
Should you not lean into the accountability? Should accountability not be something you thrive off and lean off and
exactly
use to drive you forward and make you take action?
Absolutely. And I think even when you are going to fail whatever prerequisites were there for the week, I think it's important, if you are going to do a check-in, not necessarily to make excuses, but when you do a check-in, say, yes, this is what went wrong this week. These are the reasons why. However, this is what's the solution? Don't sit there and go, oh, I wasn't, I went out and my friends had a good time and they forced me to drink. Okay. That's an excuse though. Identify what the problem was. So I think next time, the problem was I let them do it. I let them get the better of me. I let them get in my ear. I wasn't strong enough. My willpower wasn't strong enough. But these are the things when I do go out again that I feel I can do better, or it won't happen again. Or can you help me find a way?
That's the best one.
Yeah. Can you help me find a way to make sure I don't do these things?
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening and you're fearing check-ins, it's just the wrong mindset to go into it. You have to like Meera said, lean into them. And whether it's the perfect week or whether it's a 50% week, you have to hold yourself accountable in order to take further action, and then use the coaching and mentorship that you gain from the check-in in order to drive yourself forward, whether it's been a 50% week or a perfect week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, even from the September grind, when I first started grinding, I went away twice.
Yeah.
I went to Florence and I went to Turkey. And Turkey was an all-inclusive 1 week. And I didn't stray. In Turkey, in Florence, I buffered and whatever. In Turkey, and I'm so glad, Ivan says to me, take your protein, do this. I took bags of weighed oats. And there's always some sort of alternative milk. You can go to a supermarket. Whatever it is that you need to do, you have to do it. And if it means that I can eat 2 meals on plan, and maybe have to buffer maybe for the last one, or whatever I can control that's in my control, I will always want to control. And I think that's the most important thing, is just stay in control. Just know why you're here, what you're doing, and just execute what you can to the best of your ability.
That's a very stoic approach to the transformation journey. But it's so true. Especially if you're juggling a lot of hats.
Yeah. But I have blinkers on. When it comes to this, blinkers.
Yeah.
My kids know everything. Oh my God. Even they, the first thing is, I used to call him Ivan because if you...
Sorry, Ivan.
And every time I've ever said his name, and I realized, actually it's Ivan after he did his last podcast with you.
Yeah.
Every time they hear me, they correct me. They call it RNT food. Mum, you're going for your walk. How many steps have you done? And they check in on me.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, did you go to the gym? Did you do cardio today? How many calories do you have to burn today? They absolutely know. My son, when I was doing the fat loss plan at the beginning, he could recount to you, and he still can, exactly how many grams of dry rice. I'm not even joking, how many grams of veg. And I'm like, look, this is what I have to eat. So let's replicate this for you. And now they actually sit there and they think about protein. My younger son's got a dairy allergy and he's vegetarian.
Okay.
He's pretty much vegan. And he looks for protein sources. And one of my friends, bless her, over Christmas got him a cookbook. And it's got a whole thing about cookbooks for young children.
Oh, wow. And
it's got a whole section on proteins. And I'm like, Mom, I can eat this. It's vegan. I'm like, yes, it's a lentil. So they understand
Education,
now,
yeah.
and they're having a balanced meal. Yeah. Their lunch boxes now are so much more nutritionally balanced than they ever have been.
Talk about just to interrupt there. Talk about the involvement at the dinner table. You mentioned that everyone is eating pretty much the same food.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
So on some days, I would make, for example, a tofu-based rice, tofu, vegetables, or turn it into a stir fry for them. One thing, going back to what I do with my food, the same ingredients can do so many different things, but it's understanding how to work them. How many times have I posted a recipe that literally just contains oats and protein?
It's the same as my bowl, but it's so different.
But there's, one's a granola bar, one's a pancake, one's a waffle, one's a smoothie, but they're essentially the same ingredients.
Yeah.
So it's understanding how to be creative. And also, I don't want to take away from them what their palates might be and what they might want to eat. And I want them to also be children. So, a little bit of junk here and there, but they're mindful about how much other stuff they eat. And I think that's important. I wouldn't want to rob them of anything.
Yeah.
If they go out, I don't want to deny them so much that they sit there and feast on things that they've never seen before and go on a sugar rush because they've eaten a whole bowl of sweets that might be at a birthday party because they've been denied that.
Yeah.
But no, they're a treat that you deserve, but there's a limit, and it's understanding what a limit is. And I think that's the important thing is limiting yourself. Everything in moderation is okay.
Yeah, that's powerful. How do you, do you prep their lunch boxes for school? And give us some ideas for there. What are you doing for kids' lunch boxes?
Kids' lunch boxes.
This is probably a topic a lot of people think about.
Oh God. Okay. So, I have dramas because one likes hot food, one likes cold food, one it's all over the place. So it might be dal and rice with some yogurt, and it might be a Greek yogurt for protein. I give them. So we started going into corn slices and stuff. So that's another added protein. My younger son takes vegan sausages.
Oh, wow.
And he has vegan sausages. Either he'll have that or like a wrap with falafel pieces in there. The odd one loves mint yogurt. So
this is really good food.
Gourmet food.
Gourmet lunchboxes. It's hardly.
If I'm in control of it, it's gourmet.
Sandwich and crisps, I was thinking of.
Yeah. So, and morning snack is always either it has to be a piece of fruit of some sort, and then they have another small piece of fruit in their lunchbox, whether it be orange, like clementine, something they can peel, or I might cut them some Sharon fruit or plums, strawberries, and then they have like either like peppers, carrots, cucumbers, that kind of thing. And then they only drink water. My older son will only have water or milk. He has never had a fizzy drink in his life. He's not interested in fruit shoots, nothing.
It's brilliant.
Nothing.
It's a very health conscious family. And it's obviously gone maybe on
I mean, the older one likes his junk.
Yeah.
You know, give him a gaju katli. You take him to an Indian sweet shop and they all know him because of his love for gaju katlis. But he's getting there.
Yeah.
But the younger one is much more, he's lean because he doesn't have dairy in him. He's so lean.
Is this all inspiration for it all carried over from you? About seeing what their mum does? We've got training.
Well, so the young one's lean because he's got an allergy to dairy.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean
the mindset lean, right? Now, absolutely. But the mindset now, like the older one, he's like, Mum, I really want to be healthy now. Because he knows he can like veer off the track, you know. He's one of those kids, like if he sees something, it's like, he has to have it.
Yeah.
And I used to be like that, so I can't blame him. But the only thing that we can do for our children is to educate them.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever force it on him. I think with anything, RNT journey, whatever, until it clicks in your own head. You can never make the horse, you can take the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. It has to come from you and inside you. Only then can you actually do something to the best of your ability and do it right.
We've spoken a lot on this podcast about food, and we haven't really given any context to it as to why it's such an important part of your life. Do you want to just elaborate on what is essentially your biggest passion? My biggest passion is food.
Do you know what? It's funny. It's not even necessarily the food.
No.
It's the creativity of the food.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't seen Meera's food, make sure you check out at Dumbbells and Oats. Add dumbbells and oats for some of the most aesthetic pieces of combinations. Is probably the best way to say it. Combinations.
Healthy eats.
Yeah.
Healthy eats.
I mean, like my standard 3 p.m. meal is always oats, whey, oats, protein powder, peanut butter, dark chocolate, and fruit. Now, if you have that on a daily basis, Meera's got about 15 ways she can present that. So definitely go check that out. But where did this come from? Like, talk about this passion for essentially the visual. It's almost like you're creating art. This is an artistic
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So when I was younger, art's always been my thing. I'm a very strange person in the sense that you get these psychometric tests and stuff that you do when you apply for jobs. I once got told that I'm exactly 50-50, like logical and creative.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was very academic when I was younger, like extremely. I got pushed up a year at school, scholarships, that kind of level. But then at the same time, I was extremely creative as well. And I always had that battle about never knowing what to do with my life.
It's very similar, actually. I did a recent test and I was a creative analyst.
See, there you go. That's exactly what
I had the big idea.
Yeah.
Analyst to
logically, which is why execute. You can run a business very successfully. Because a lot of people might have a great idea, especially like tech people and stuff like that. They're creative, but then they don't know how to build a business around their idea. So the good thing about having a brain like yours is that you can then go and build the business around your ideas. And you can actually essentially be a one-man band. Obviously you delegate work, but in terms of driving force, you don't need someone else to pull those pieces.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always had a battle where I've never felt satisfied with what I'm doing. I did an economics degree. Yes, I liked it, but oh God, I didn't want to be an economist. I didn't want to be a banker, and it just wasn't me. It just wasn't me. And I fell into like a happy medium where I was working within sales, working within a very creative environment, the industry, and I was really happy. Like really happy. I had a flexible job in terms of full-time, but based around my kids' hours at school. And, I didn't want to rock the boat with anything. I was doing it perfectly fine. And then what actually happened was I used to just take pictures on my phone I used to make smoothie bowls for breakfast, whatever. Take a picture on my phone, put up on Instagram, as people do, take a picture of their, look at my pictures back then, they were very different to what they are now. Anyway, so in November, I get a phone call, I get a text message on a Sunday, a WhatsApp message, and it's my friend from work. And she's like, hey, Meera, so there's a PT on Instagram, and she downplayed it. And he's looking for like a food stylist and a food photographer. So I've kind of just given him your Instagram name. I'm like, but why? I go, that's not what I do. I work with you. You know I'm not a food photographer and I'm not a food stylist. She goes, yeah, but he wants your number now. So what do I do? And I went, what have you done? So she goes, I'm just going to give it to him. Again, it's do or die. Just give it to him, see what happens. And she goes, oh, by the way, his name's PMAC. And I'm like, do you know who this guy is? Like, this guy trains celebrities. He's big on Instagram. He's an influencer, like a social media influencer in that way. And I'm like, I can't do this. Literally, she goes, sent it. My phone starts ringing on a Sunday morning. And he's like, hi, were you expecting my call? It's PMAC. And I'm like, yes, but I don't know why you're calling me. And he goes, calm down. Did you make the food that you have on your page? Yes. Did you style the food? Yes. Did you take the photograph? Yes. I want you to come and show me how to do that. And literally from there, the snowball effect of how this came out to be where I am today. So from that, I had a really big social media influencer start following me, again, fitness related. So I just feel like this fitness thing is just it's been looming, coming into my life. And I wrote that on my testimonial about how all of it's just all come together as one, all the pieces have just joined. So she started following me. The next thing you know, I get a DM from her. Can you create content for me? Blah, blah, blah. That snowballed into working with brands, because then I'm like now visible to people. And then I've got like companies like Holland Barrett doing content for a fitness related situation for them. And yeah, I just left my job in January. I just thought, I'm not happy, clearly, because this is bringing me so much joy. But even with the photography and the food styling and everything, it's taken me a good year of 2019 to really work out what it is that I want to do with the photography. Because you can be good behind the camera, but it's what is it that you want to be photographing? So I've done a lot of work, photo shoots for restaurants, and I do brand content. But it's taken me till now to figure out what it is that I want to do and what makes me happy. So again, while going through the grind, it let me just literally cut out and really think about what I want to do.
What is it?
So now I think I prefer to, rather than photographing other people's food, I prefer to photograph food that I've created. And I prefer to photograph maybe as in content for other people. I'm happy to photograph it, but I prefer to make it because I can present it the way I want to present it.
Okay, so before you were just taking photos of it.
So before I was doing that, but there was a lot of element of like restaurant photo shoots and stuff like that.
Understood.
So now I want to do things that are actually allowing me to be the creative person 100%.
Yeah, that's why you're feeling in flow.
Yeah, exactly. It's just coming out of me. Yeah. It's just, I can't, like I said, I've got to put a lid on it sometimes.
Yeah,
like, calm down, Meera. Yeah. So working with brands and doing shoots for them, using their products and whatever it might be. That's because I'm very different. Like, so I like doing recipes for other people in terms of creating content from a recipe they might have given me. But I feel like I'm at my peak because when I know the end result of what I want something to look like, I very much work backwards. I've already visualized the end point. I know exactly what I want that end picture to be, the photograph. And then I create a recipe around that. And that's how I work.
Nice.
So that's really now it shows through my work.
Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful pictures.
Thank you. Thank you.
And artistic creations.
Yeah. Organized mess.
You almost don't want to eat it, do you? You'd rather,
I can eat it.
You'd rather just look at it.
No, I can eat it.
I'm looking forward to trying the granola bars for the first.
Yeah.
I've tried it, the brownie recipe. Well, my sister made it.
Yeah.
But actually trying your one will be good. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy them. So so that's my thing with the food. And I now make things where the thought in the whole balanced aspect of the meal. I think before my food was not balanced in terms of protein was never really a thing in my head. Now the first point of call is, where's the protein?
Yeah.
And if it's not something that's got protein in it, how can I add the protein on top? Or how can I incorporate something? Even if it's a small snack, there has to be an element of protein in there. So that's how I'm working my recipes now. And I've got so many ideas. They just, I can't wait to just make all of them. But, it takes a long time. It's not easy. You see the end picture, but there's a lot of effort that goes into.
Goes with everything, right?
Yeah, a lot of effort that goes into it. So, but now that's my mission, is to get people cooking and not fearing cooking, because I think food is such a big aspect of everyone's lives. People talk about where they went to eat. People want to Instagram pictures and they want to go to Instagrammable places, and social things are always related around food. And I think with this RNT journey, and anyone who's into fitness and whatever, there is a big, stigma that food has to be boring if it's healthy. And I'm here to show you that it's not. It's absolutely not. You can eat a porridge bowl, put your protein in there and just whisk it up and whatever. But there is so much more you can do to that to give you joy. Food should give you joy. It doesn't have to be just fuel. You can get pleasure, and you can use the same ingredients to, like I said, make multiple things. And they do want variety. I know there's decision fatigue and all of that, but there's no reason why you can't have your meal plan for a week or 2 weeks with one dish, and then use the same ingredients to make something else and meal prep for another 2 weeks. You can have variety, but just maybe not chopping and changing every day, because even I find that a struggle, and I'm creative when it comes to food, but it is draining to work out all the macros. And so I'd rather have, the variety goes into my porridge bowls. The rest of the meal plans are set. Yeah. And then if I do want to change a dinner, I'll change that dinner and I'll keep it for 2 weeks, because again, that eliminates that decision fatigue, especially with the kids and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. What's next for Meera then? What's next in the journey? You do your own consolidation now. What are your investment plans? Looking to build a lot of muscle? Looking to continue building strength?
I'll tell you what I'm going to build: a butt.
You're going to build a butt? Okay,
so unfortunately, genetics didn't give me I don't know what you want to call it, a booty. And I lost a lot of it during fat loss and getting really lean. And all I say to Ivan is, I need a bum. And he's like, literally on my last check-in this morning, actually, he's like, let's get ready to get those glutes built, so just like get working on that and like literally just get strong. Like, I can't even believe, like, I couldn't even do a pull-up, chin up, whatever. And Sham goes to me on the shoot day, like, and you take a picture of your back. Can you put little step up and do it? I was like, I can't do this. Oh my God. I lifted myself up like I'd been doing it for years.
3 reps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He told me that. He came and says, yeah, Meera never done a chin up. I told her to go on the bar. She did 3 reps. She couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. I couldn't even believe, because I tried to do it probably about 3 months before photo shoot. Still couldn't do, I could do one just about, probably killing myself. But the way I went up, at like the ease, I couldn't believe how quickly and smoothly I just was able to do it. So I went to the gym the other day. I was like, everyone in the gym knows me because I'm there all the time. I'm there like part of the furniture 7 days a week. So there's always random people like, that come up to me and say, hello, la la. I was like, right, I'm going to give it a go today. So like I did it again, I think yesterday, the day before, just practicing. It's like the headstands. It's all about self-improvement. It's what can you do to just grow all the time? Like the headstands came about because, I really wanted to make sure my abs, Ivan's all about get the abs showing for the photo shoot. That's one thing that we need to do, is like, that's going to make, show that you're lean, is that whole cut there. And so I was just like, right, I'm working on my core. What can I do outside of this to work on my core? And doing headstands good for your blood flow, all of that, just channeling yourself. So yeah, it's literally, I just want to be strong, fit, healthy, and happy. If I'm all of those things, the world around me will just work. Everything else will just work. Beautiful.
Any parting words for any RNTers?
Oh gosh. Just honestly, like, if you want this to work in the best way possible, just listen to your coach. They're there for a reason. That's why the word coach is a coach. They coach you. Listen to them. Do everything they say. Find your why. Believe in your why. And everything else will just fall into place. And just remember, the hardest parts are actually only short-term. That's what I will come back to all the time. Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Like, you can live in that blissful beach, whatever, visual you want to have, but you just have to go through something to get there. And remember, if anything is worth having, you have to work for it. You can't get that promotion unless you've earned it. You have to earn it. So to be on the other side of fat loss consolidation and be in that investment reward phase, you have to have earned it. So go earn it. No one's stopping you, only you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on, Meera.
No problem.
Thank you so much for being here today on this episode of RNT Fitness Radio. I'd love for you to do a quick little favor for us. Please head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, and share it with your family and friends. If you're interested in learning more about how to transform your body and positively change your life, go to www.rntfitness.com and explore all our free content on offer. Thank you.